welcome back to Law Study Kid. I'm Rabia. I'm a Canadian immigration lawyer based in Toronto, Ontario, and I'm also the founder of Law Study Kid, where I sell sample questions and answers for NCA exams. And so if you're interested, you can take a look at my online platform by visiting lawstudykid.com, and I can link it in the description box below. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the more practical aspect of being a lawyer in Canada. I've been practicing for a year now, and I wanted to talk about whether being a lawyer has changed me as a person. When I was a law student, I used to think about this question a lot in terms of what do lawyers think about themselves? Like, are there any qualities that they get once they become a lawyer, or what is it that really happens to them as soon as they get called? So in this video, I want to talk about, how I've changed as a person. Definitely I've changed, some for the good, some for the bad, but I'll discuss a few of them in this video. The first change that I've noticed in myself is that I am very conscious and cautious of the advice that I give out as a lawyer. When I was a law student, you can answer any question anybody tells you, or you can kind of guess the questions, guess an answer. But as a lawyer, when you're providing legal advice, you have to be very, very careful in what you say. Even the slightest word can have a different meaning, or the way that you communicate can also be interpreted in a way where, your communication is not that clear. So in the beginning, when I was a law student or when I started practicing law, I felt like I had answers to all the questions and I knew everything, or I was able to communicate what I thought that the answer was to a legal question. But over time, I have realized when working with a lot of different clients is that you have to be very cautious with the advice that you give out, the wordings that you use, because when people interpret, when people are interpreting what you're saying, it can be interpreted in different ways, this is how the system works, because you're dealing with different people. Sometimes people interpret what you say in a very different way than you wanted them to interpret. So I've noticed in this past year, the more experience I get, the more cautious I am with the wording that I use, the way that I communicate, the legal advice that I give out, or when I'm providing legal advice. I'm very, very careful about that too. So I don't know if it's a good change or a bad change, but I guess it changes that I'm very cautious of what I'm communicating in terms of legal advice that I'm giving out, or the wording that I'm using, or I'm going to pay very close attention to the words that are used when people communicate. The change I've noticed in myself is that now whenever I look at anything, for example, if I'm reading something related to marketing, or if I'm purchasing a service, I read everything very, very diligently to make sure that I understand it properly. If somebody tells me an answer like, oh, this is how it's done, I'm going to believe you, but I still have to look at it from my own eyes and see and read it the way that I'd like to read it, because as lawyers, you're trained to read word by word, make sure that you understand each and everything, and you have to be very diligent. So I've noticed that after practicing law for a year, I've been reading things a lot more diligently, in detail, just not trusting what everybody tells you, but actually read stuff and make sense of it on my own. And I think this is a very good skill that I didn't have before. Even now in my videos, if you've noticed, I like to take a look at the NCA policy. I read it very diligently because that's a skill that I've learned during this year. Before that, I wouldn't I would pay close attention, but I didn't read it as if I was reading it too diligently. The third change that I've noticed is that I've become more confident in my ability to help people. And again, this was not the case when I started practicing. The first few months, obviously, I was learning, and I'm still learning now, but over time, you start to build confidence in the way that you're helping other people, and you feel good about yourself. And confidence is also about feeling good about what you're doing, how you're feeling. So I would say that after helping people, I felt good about myself. And so automatically, I felt a lot more confident in the past couple of months. I would also want to point out that, sometimes when you're starting out a new job or a new position, in the first few months can be very, very stressful because you're new to this role. But other than that, like you gain confidence over time. I still have a lot to learn, but over the past few months, I feel like I've become more confident in my ability to help people. Last change that I've noticed is that I've become very, very grateful of what I have. For example, sometimes I'm thinking about the people that I've helped, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm very, very thankful for this opportunity to be able to help these people. I don't feel like, you know, or this is something that I was supposed to do, or this is something that, I always should have done. I'm just always grateful that I'm in this position. I have the privilege to be able to help people in need, and that people are trusting me to help them. So, I felt grateful in the past years as well. But this year has been a lot about helping people in need. I've helped people from different parts of the world, people who are in danger, people who are stuck in countries where situations have been pretty bad. And, when you're able to help them in that moment, it's just like, I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do this. I made a difference in somebody's life. And that's just feeling really, really grateful. I don't know what else to say, but the past year, I felt very grateful to be able to help people who really needed that help. I'm sure that there are other changes as well that I can't really think of now, but let me know, if you're a practicing lawyer in Canada or somewhere else, let me know how you've changed as a person. Would love to know a little bit more about other people's experiences and see if I'm able to relate to you at all. Thanks, guys. Take care.